whenever we do these, videos about, well, job losses because of Brexit, that's really what it is. Um, Brexit is the ultimate driver behind the reason why this business is closed. We'll find out just in a bit. Of course, I think the business will deny it, and if certainly down in the comments you've tried to see other Brexiteers deny it and say, "Oh my God, it's not Brexit; it's just the entire world at the moment's, gone to hell in a handbasket." But unfortunately, that's not the case. The further we get out from COVID, the less and less these excuses wash that Brexit has nothing to do with it. That, oh, it's now the war in Ukraine. Oh, it's inflation. And don't get me wrong, inflation is going up around the world, but we're worse off. We are the worst performing of any G7 country, bar Russia. And bear in mind that we've just had a rather damning report saying that we are set for something like 0% growth, or like 0.001%. That's how small our growth is going to be. Sooner or later, you cannot just stop ignoring the elephant in the room. Brexit has damaged the UK economy. It has damaged our companies, our industry in the UK, because our closest market was always and will always be the EU. We have put up trade barriers between us and them. And to cross those barriers, it's now costs in time and money. I always said it, I had a friend who worked for a company. The second, obviously, these changes in, he now had to do 2 extra hours of paperwork to send stuff over to Europe. And of course, the time, it costs in just doing that paperwork, the man hours, the cost of the actual paperwork itself, because buying that paperwork from the official sources is not cheap. It's like roughly like £130 a time or something like that. But if you're buying that multiple times for multiple loads, that cost soon adds up. And we always said it would be the small to medium businesses that would suffer the most because of Brexit. And that is what we are seeing constantly on a day-by-day basis. So before we go into this article, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there is a link to my Patreon page and a more-up-to-date link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. So today, we go over to Spalding today. Yes, off to Spalding. I think I've been to Spalding at one point. I know it's sort of Lincolnshire way, somewhere over there, although over here technically, just to sort of be accurate on your screen. So yeah, I'm sure I've been there in the past, but it's a small town, small area, and the job losses here are going to be big. But anyway, we'll get into the article quickly. So, like I said, this comes from Spalding today with the title of Greenyard, the fresh fruit factory in Pick Beach, Spalding, is set to close in the coming months. A South Holland food supplier is set to cease operations this summer. Greenyard Fresh, which has premises in Stevenson's Avenue in Pinchbeck, I think that's how you say it, will be devastated in the coming months after a company-wide decision to shut down fresh producers in the UK. This comes after the analysis in which Greenyard believes, and it shows, the insufficient room for standalone profitable growth in that particular market. So just think of what that company's just said then. There is no point having a factory in the UK because it is not profitable. And we have seen, this isn't the first time we've covered this type of European company that has a factory or some sort of production line here in the UK just go, we're just gonna move out of the UK. And of course, this is why we go to sort of newspapers or news, you know, local news sites like this, because they never reach a national level. It's always at a local level. But these losses are down to, to Brexit. I think it is 200 jobs being lost here. That is huge. And of course, this place isn't a big, it's not a big company. Well, it's not. Sorry, it's not a big area, shall we say? And 200 jobs lost in that local economy is going to be very, very hard for that local area to absorb. And yes, this was an area that voted heavily to leave, so I'm sure there will be comments saying, ha ha ha, they deserved it. But I've always said, these people in that factory who voted for leave had no idea what they were voting for. They did not understand what it was they were being sold. And as we've always said, you do not blame the conned, you blame the con men. That is who you blame. No one is to blame for voting for Brexit. It is people like Boris Johnson and Michael Gove who promised the earth. Any Brexiteer who promised the earth, from Nigel Farage, Katie Hoey, Daniel Hannan, the list goes on. All these people promised that it would be painless, that it would be amazing, that we would have this bright future ahead for the UK. But unfortunately, it just does not go that way. One thing we have always said consistently on this channel, that the problems of the UK were never, ever caused by the EU or us being a member of the European Union or being in the single market or being in the customs union. Those were not problems. The problems of the UK were ultimately austerity, again, by the Tory government, and the fact that we have had a successive Tory governments that have failed to produce anything substantial here in the UK. And even during the Blair years, where Blair sort of really, rode that line, and, Blair did a lot of good stuff. He also did a lot of bad stuff as well. But the Blair years and the Brown years were almost certainly better off than we were now. And under this current government, it's not like they have any long-term industrial strategies to sort of help these areas or to help these people out with their current predicaments. But this reason and reason alone, just from that company quote right there, it is down to Brexit. When a company says that this localized factory is not profitable, that is down solely to Brexit. And, 200 people about to lose their jobs. It's not a good thing to really report. I really don't like reporting, about this, but it's valuable to do, because obviously these types of things never get, the national attention they really deserve. But it's worth reporting on to say, hey, Brexiteers, you were promised not a single job would be lost down to Brexit. But here we have another 200 job losses because of Brexit. And in an area where 200 jobs going like that will cause a lot of pain and suffering for a whole lot of people to try and, absorb that into a localized, job economy there. It's going to be very hard. Just as if factory like that were to close in my hometown, 200 jobs would be very, very hard for my local economy to try and absorb. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you all next time.